the Rashiva of David Shustel Shlita, asked Rav Henoch Shachar to serve as the Das Torah and the manig of a new girls' high school that would be open for the Lakewood Kehillah called Yotzer. My dear Chaver, Rabbi Yaakov Siegel, and his wife were determined to open Yotzer for a special group of high school girls. Now, a bit of background about myself so you understand why this school is so important to me. I was Zoicha to not only learn in the great yeshiva of Beis Talmud, which is probably the single most yeshiva of the generation, but also to spend years in the great Adelphi yeshiva with Mereinu, Tzadik, Agoyin, Rav David Trenk, Zeichet Tzadik v'Kadosh Levracha. And Adelphia, in its day, was designed for a certain type of bacher who did not fit in seemingly to the so-called, and I use that word so-called, mainstream. I say the word so-called because Lamaisa, the Adelphia Talmidim, include many Rashi Yeshiva, Rashi Moistus, Rebbeim, beautiful Balabatim, and people who went on to make the greatest contributions to Klal Yisrael. But we were not seen as the mainstream. A Kehillah like Lakewood, Bli Ayin Hara, with over 100,000 from Yidden, cannot have all of its moistus fit exactly into one surah. Rabbi Yaakov Siegel and his Rebbetzin decided they're going to open a girls' high school that would be for girls who are not exceptions, who are not difficult, who are not problem girls, but who would not fit into the standard model that applies to so many thousands of others. Rav Henoch Shachar took it on under the hadracha, ultimately of the Rosh Yeshiva of David Shustel, and they have seen tremendous hatzlacha. And the reason why they're seeing this hatzlacha is because the kulei l'shem shemayim. Rabbi Yaakov has no financial interest. Baruch Hashem, he's a very successful psychotherapist. He has no financial interest in doing this. He opened the Meisid because he saw the need and he stepped up to create such a makam for the girls of Lakewood. And Yotzer Hashem, over the years to come, they're going to grow. I want to speak to you as parents. Not every one of your children fits into the seeming boxes that are out there. Don't make the mistake of trying to force a child to go to a meisid where they don't necessarily belong. Chanoich lenar al pi darkai. You have to choose the meisid that's best for your children. That's what's going to bring you nachas. That's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from you. That's going to bring you hatzlacha. And your children deserve it. There's no question. Every parent's love for their children, for their child, is beyond imagine. Express that love for your children by choosing the right meisid. And if you think that Yotzer is the right place for you, for your child, choose it, because you're going to see tremendous hatzlacha. Any effort in Klal Yisrael that begins with L'Shem Shemayim always has a special siyata d'shmaya that goes beyond words. You think of Reb Aaron, the Zayd, the starting Lakewood, 13 Talmidim. People probably thought they were all crazy. But it was kulei l'shem shemayim. This is a meisid like the many meistus of Lakewood that is l'shem shemayim. They have already seen tremendous hatzlacha. The most wonderful graduates go on to build Torah homes. If you think that this might be the right place for your child, I urge you, take a very close look at it to make sure that your child gets the best Torah chinuch possible. And certainly, for many of you, Yotzer is going to be that meisid. To the supporters of Torah, to the supporters of this great Kehillah, which we are l'shem u'l'teferes in Klal Yisrael, for shuls, for Moistus HaTorah, for Beis Yaakovs, for every Dover Shabbat Kedusha, for every Moised of Chesed. This special Moised particularly in its startup phase, when it's small, needs your support. And it should tug at your heartstrings, not because they're a Rahmanis in any way. They're not a Rahmanis. They're a beautiful Meisid. But because the investment you'll make here in a small Meisid will bear the most compounded payers for your tzedakah and for your investment in Klal Yisrael. I want to wish everyone, all the parents whose children are already in this beautiful Meisid of Yotzer, and the children who are in this school, the supporters, and especially the staff, Mrs. Lehman, and everyone involved, a tremendous amount of Hatzlacha in the years to come.